We're going to take you back to Queen's Park now. That is where Ontario Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie spoke with reporters for the first time in her new role yesterday. And she was asked about concerns surrounding the dissolution of Peel Region. Watch this.
We saw Brampton Mayor saying that de-amalgamation could cost $1.3 billion. You've disputed that figure. I'm just wondering, are you concerned at some of the noise that's out there around this debate?
So I'm not sure why Mayor Brown is trying to distract from the work on hand. It seems to be a desperate attempt to derail a process that is well in hand, a process that the Premier himself appointed a group that he has confidence in, and quite frankly, I've met with them and I have confidence in them as well. The Premier and I don't agree on a lot of things, but we do agree on dissolution of the region of Peel.
So that was Bonnie Crombie's take. Let's get Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown's take now. He joins us live with his thoughts. Thank you for joining us, Mayor. I want to give you a chance to respond to Bonnie Crombie firing back at you this week, saying your concerns are what she calls a desperate attempt to derail the dissolution of Peel Region. What do you say to that?
So I've been against this proposal from the start. You know, this was a deal between the former Minister of Municipal Affairs and Mayor Crombie, and we've done the due diligence. We've seen the financial analysis, and it's devastating. This is a train wreck. You know, the Deloitte report shows that we're looking at a tax increase region-wide of 38%, the largest in Peel Region history. All the key public sector associations in Peel have warned of dire consequences. The paramedics, public health, the Peel police, our shelter staff. I don't know why Mayor Crombie wants to introduce herself to Ontario by throwing these unsung frontline heroes under the bus when they're saying that lives will be at risk. I trust them. I trust the paramedics and the police, our shelter staff and our public health workers 100 times out of 100 more than I do Mayor Crombie. I don't understand why she continues to stubbornly cling to this, knowing that it means reduced service levels and record tax increases. It's a train wreck. And if the rumors are correct that the province is going to walk this back, then thank goodness.
So you've said that the dissolution of Peel would cost residents, including Brampton residents, massive tax increases. That's something Bonnie Crombie disputes. She disputes the numbers that your office has provided. Can I get your comments on that?
Well, these aren't my numbers. These are the numbers that came from Deloitte. These are the same numbers the province is looking at, the same numbers that the transition board is looking at. And frankly, it's the feedback that we've got from all the employee groups in Peel. What it would cost to create 3 paramedic forces instead of 1. What it would cost to have 3 police forces instead of 1. Now, those are just examples of how it would escalate cost. I would note what's been most surprising is that Hazel McCallion's hand-picked city manager, the former city manager in Mississauga, Janice Baker, who was probably the most ardent advocate of dissolution, came out saying that this was flawed. It was a mistake. And has now said that this should be walked back. And so if Mississauga's top bureaucrat is saying this, I don't know why Mayor Crombie clings to this. It would leave a legacy of higher taxes and reduced service levels. And I would challenge her. This is her first test of leadership as the Liberal leader, to show that she's in it for all of Ontarians, not just trying to create some odd legacy in Mississauga.
So much has been said about this divorce, including where the Premier stands on the issue now. I just heard you say if it is true, then thank goodness. Do you think the Ford government could and will walk this back?
So I think they've been shocked by the numbers they're hearing from their transition team, the numbers that we have shared. And so I think they are taking this seriously. When public health says it's a disaster, when the paramedics say it will cost lives, when the police have warned against it, I think that's making headway at Queen's Park, and I hope it's correct.
You do say that a lot of groups are sounding the alarm, paramedics, and you say healthcare facilities as well. What are you hearing from residents in Peel?
Well, they don't know why this. The process was embarked upon. They were worried, and it's sort of a train that was going in the wrong direction. And so I think the greatest fears would have been realized if this was actually implemented next year. So I think there's a lot of apprehension. But this week I'm hopeful that these reports are correct and that sanity is going to win the day.
Are you going to pick up the phone and call the Premier? Have you spoken to anybody from his office? What are you hearing from the PCs, Mayor?
Well, I've been advocating pretty aggressively to the provincial government that this would not be in the best interest of Ontario or Peel Region. They've got more than an earful from me, and so I hope they'll do the right thing. And what I've said to the provincial government, what I've said to Mayor Crombie, it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. And knowing all the facts now, knowing all the evidence, there's no reason anyone should cling to what was a reckless path forward.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.